So just how safe is Vietnam, guys? So today, guys, I'm going to talk about how safe is Vietnam. We're in District 4, the old gangster district. We're going to have a look around. I'm going to take you with me. I'm going to give you a tour, and we're going to find out, in my opinion, just how safe Vietnam is to visit and to live. Let's go. So I brought you along to District 4, Saigon today, and I thought it would be a cool place to go around whilst I address the topic of how safe is Vietnam. So District 4 is pretty infamous, and it's a good spot to talk about safety in Vietnam, because this area, which is almost like an island, so it's surrounded by rivers, and to the south is District 7, to the north is District 1, and during the 1990s, this area was notorious for a very famous gangster named Nam Gam, who was also nicknamed the Godfather of Vietnam. Whilst this area has now shaken off that reputation and is really developing fast, probably because of its close proximity to District 1, if you talk to a lot of older Vietnamese, they still don't like to come here, and whenever you mention District 4, they always seem a little bit scared sometimes. So how safe is Vietnam? Is it a safe place for a holiday? Is it a safe place to live? Well, let's think about it. So if you look at the statistics, guys, Vietnam is actually ranked as being very safe. One of the safest countries actually in the world, I believe, especially if you compare it to America. So one of the things that you don't see much of here is violent crime. Now, of course, it does exist, but there really is no gun crime here, especially if you compare it to countries like the US. I'm from the UK, so I'm used to being in an environment where the police don't carry firearms or guns, and that's one thing I like about Vietnam. It's pretty rare to see or hear about gun crime here. So the only time I've seen any kind of violence here was during like road rage type incidents, when people got into an accident that escalated into shouting, which eventually led to an exchange of blows, but no weapons, things like that. I've only seen that once in the many years I've been here. Obviously I've seen videos as well of stuff like this, but personally I think the rate of violent crime, in my eyes and in my opinion, is pretty low. So what kind of crime will you see here, guys? Well, petty theft, bag snatching, purse snatching, phone snatching, stuff like that. But they're the sort of things that you will experience in any big city, especially in the tourist areas. So around District 1, you have to be careful. You can't stand on, well, you shouldn't stand on the end of the road with your phone out taking a selfie, because crimes of opportunity do happen here, and you may lose some of your stuff. People often talk about scams in Vietnam, but I don't think it's too bad. I mean, compared to Thailand, I've traveled to Thailand numerous times, and I personally feel the potential for scams is greater there. That's just my opinion. But I've had friends here who've been victim to scams with landlords not getting deposits returned, things like that. So that kind of petty crime does happen. Like I said in my other video, guys, you do feel that people leave you alone here. So if you do keep yourself to yourself, you'll be fine. And Vietnamese people are very tolerant, I find. They don't really want to argue. They're very accepting. And you'd have to do something pretty bad to annoy them, I think. So be wary of scams when you're booking tours. That can be an issue. Again, I mentioned in my visiting Vietnam video not to book tours outside the country, and I stand by that advice. Book tours inside the country where you can see the people providing the tour. And you know what you're getting. Obviously Vietnam is a low middle income country. Average wages are still very low here, so you need to use common sense if you're a tourist. Don't walk around with large bills hanging out your wallet or your purse. Don't be flash with the cash. But I think that's just common sense. It's a bit of a drinking culture in Vietnam, so be careful with the heat and the dehydration. Very easy to get drunk. I've never heard of anybody having any issues when they're drunk, but obviously with the dangerous roads and the disorientation of being in a new country, you have to watch yourself and be careful. And it's like with anything else, it just comes down to common sense. Obviously enjoy your holiday, enjoy your visit, but be aware that things are probably not like your home country or quite dissimilar, and err on the side of caution. So when we talk about a country and safety, it's not just violent crime that you think of. You have to think about things like road safety, and that's where I think Vietnam can be a little unsafe, is on the road. So the driving here can be a little erratic, a little crazy at times, and you have to be very careful, especially if you're new to the country and you're riding a motorbike or bicycle. So as far as road traffic accidents go, Vietnam is right up there in the statistics table. I think Thailand does beat it, but Vietnam still has very high road traffic accident statistics. They are working on it, but I think they could do a bit more to raise driver awareness and driver training. A couple of gangsters, or young buffalo as they say in Vietnamese. Where I'm from we say boy racer. The guys, when they're 17, 18 years old, they go around in their cars, 4-inch exhaust pipe, making as much noise as possible. Here in Vietnam they're called Gia Chao, which means young buffalo, which means kind of like a crazy young man. So one of the things that people ask me, family, friends, when they come to visit, before they come, is how safe is Vietnam? Do I need insurance? Do I need vaccinations? Well, yes to insurance, and I believe no to vaccinations. You don't require any vaccinations for Vietnam. Some of course are recommended, but none are required, I believe. One aspect of safety which people don't talk about is health. So Vietnam is a tropical country and there's a lot of tropical diseases here. Dengue fever is very, very common, and whilst not usually fatal, it can cause some pretty nasty symptoms, and it's stuff like you don't really want to have ruining your holiday. So obviously be aware of mosquitoes. Hello. How are you today? Hello, young man. What's that over there? Yeah, lai. Looks like some sort of squirrel. Chinchilla. I think he really wants to go up that tree. So you never know what you might find when you come down these hems, these alleyways. The cacophony of noise that you get from the main street just suddenly goes quiet, and you get a bit of peace. And you see interesting things like this that you may not have seen. Food safety. Is the food safe to eat? Generally, yes. Again, common sense. So look for the busy restaurants. Look for stuff that hasn't been out in the sun for a couple of hours. Although, of course, there is an adjustment period when you go to any country. You may have some stomach issues initially, but as your digestive system gets used to the exotic bacteria, then hopefully you will adjust. Obviously, you don't want stomach issues ruining a 2 or 3 week holiday, so be a bit more mindful and careful about what you eat if you're coming on holiday. And again, just common sense. Make sure the food is hot, looks fresh. Don't drink the water. So the water in the taps is not potable, but drinking water is very cheap to buy. And try to remember that, guys, especially if you've been drinking and you're drunk and you come home at 3 a.m. and you're really thirsty, you've only been in the country for a few days, you've got jet lag, don't drink the water. I'm sure you'd be fine. Once or twice is not going to harm you, but best to err on the side of caution. But we've all been there. Hello. Massage? Oh, come. So that's the first time in many years in Vietnam I've been asked to go for a massage whilst riding my bike around. Interesting. So in regards to tourism, I feel that Vietnam is absolutely safe, and I think it's one of the safest countries you could visit as a tourist. but keep your wits about you, and once you go off the beaten path, obviously be aware of tropical animals. There are tropical diseases, and be extremely careful if you decide to rent some sort of vehicle here. In regards to long-term living, I feel that you need to have good insurance, or at least have some money behind you, because you may have healthcare issues along the way and you're going to need to pay to get yourself treated. And if you're the more adventurous type, like you like cycling like me, potentially could be more likely to get into an accident. Touch wood. Oh shit, no wood here. So if you're thinking of coming to Vietnam to visit, or maybe stay a little bit longer, I'm sure you'll have a great time. It's such an interesting country. Don't be scared to go off the beaten path a little bit. Go down those hems, guys, those alleys. Have a look around. Talk to the people. And you will have a great time. Keep yourself safe. Consider very carefully about renting a motorbike. And if you do decide to rent a motorbike, just practice somewhere where it's quiet, like down one of these hems, for example, just so you get used to it. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It all helps me to progress and make better content for you. Yes, I do believe Vietnam is a very safe place to visit as a tourist or to live, but just be mindful of the points I've made in today's video. So I'm going to ride back home now. It's looking a bit dark in the sky. I don't want to get wet. Even though my electric bike is waterproof, I still worry about all those volts running around my body. So take it easy, guys. Have a great day. See you all soon.